All right, guys, welcome to the social media, the Discord. We're live everywhere that we can. And we're going to go over some of the trades this morning. I was just recapping before we went live. We did trade really well in premium in the Discord. We did it live yesterday, trading SPY. We put out just two levels, right? Very simple levels where we wanted to break out to play calls and where we wanted to break down to trade the put side of SPY, right? And there were day trades yesterday, and it was a really good day to trade, to be honest. Out of all the days recently, yesterday was a very good rip day where good money could have been made yesterday. So I guess I'm looking at SPY's chart right now. And welcome to the stream, everyone that's tuning in and coming into the Discord channel. Welcome. Hope everyone's having a good morning so far. Yeah, good morning. So yesterday it was a very good rip day. Calls. We played calls here at the beginning of the day. And then it pulled all the way back down, right? So just using my Maverick indicator was a very nice indication to buy calls. When it went bearish, you could play puts. Then we had that 3 o'clock, like 2:30, 3 o'clock ish, where Taco Trump came on and decided to say we're not going to put tariffs on. He should just have a taco truck, to be honest, with his weakness of these tariff threats that he's doing. But he decided to retract that whole, we're not going to put tariffs on Europe. We're going to make a deal where we can get maybe some parts of Greenland for protection. I don't know. But there's some kind of deal in place. And that's when SPY ripped up to 688. And then it kind of fizzled out a little bit into after hours. But we are up here again on SPY. So we're currently at 689. And if you were in the coaching sessions with me in the chat and also in premium, we were talking about that gap fill potential. Even at the very beginning of the week, we're talking about that gap fill potential. If anything comes good out of, these Europe and Greenland or whatever's going on, that gap fill could easily be a play. So it did hold around that 675. If we're looking at like longer term, we held this area here pretty well, 676, 675. Then the gap fill potentially is to where it may open right now, right? About 690. So we pretty much have that gap fill at this point. And then we also had Trump saying, well, the market's going to double. This dip is peanuts. It's going to double. And then everyone's like, oh, FOMO, retail traders. Oh, jump in. So everyone jumped in on that whole spiel yesterday from him. And I'm sure his buddies got in on the dip as well and played out pretty nice. So potentially gap fill opportunity will probably happen after market opens. We're likely to probably fill that gap to 690, and then we'll see where we go from there on SPY. That's right on this level here. Look at that. So 691. So this is the level that I'd be watching. If you like to trade options or want to trade options, I do put out these, like I go in here and I put out a pre-plan for SPY as much as I can, or on the live streams weekly, I kind of go through it, right? So this will be, I'm going to get rid of the fair value gaps. I'm going to get rid of the gaps. And I'm just going to leave this here. And that's what I'm going to be looking at. Either rejection at this level, that 690 fill. And if we get that could be a short-term pullback. If we get a nice rejection off that, we could come down to maybe the low 689s. Or we could potentially fill this gap that's created overnight, right? So we got to look at after hours action here. We close here. We open up at 4 a.m. right here. So that also, if we turn on the gaps, auto-generated gaps, we have this gap fill that potentially could happen if we start to see sell-off again, and that could be a nice trade down to about 687, 680, 7 and change. So potentially playing a pullback if we get hard rejection, right, of this 690 fill that was created from last week to this week, right? We do have a short week as well, so I think it could happen pretty nicely for us. If we get above this level, I think we were just likely to go to a new high and start ripping to a new high. And I think there won't be much in the way of that, especially if they build on top of Greenland's deal. And then they're talking, I think he announced like Iran wants to come to the table and have conversation. And then also Ukraine and Russia. It keeps going on and on and on. But if something actually happens there, then we go to a new all-time high, I think, just on that news. I think not even on data. It's just on that news. Like, okay, there's more peace maybe in the world. Good morning. So I'd be looking at this break of, let me write this down, 690.10 break for calls. So I'm looking for 2 3-minute candle close above, right? Above this line. So we want to see a candle close above it. We don't want to see a wick. We don't want to see it wick up and then close below it. We want to see a clear candle going above the line, closing above it. Then the next candle is where I decide if I want to get in or if it's going to be just a punk out kind of thing and it pulls back down. So that next candle after the close above that line is where I'm going to look to take my potential trade to the upside. Downside, like I say, if we get rejection off here, then we can aim for these levels. I'm going to put to the top of the gap too, like right there. I'll be aiming for these levels to the downside if we do start to see some increase of sell side volume. So rejection of this 690.10, and then we will aim for 680, 689. Right here, and then we would be aiming for as low as 687. I say like 15-ish. I go a little bit higher than that level for a potential gap fill. So market just opened. We'll see what plays out here right from the get-go. In this stream as well, I'll go over the watch list trades. We see if we can pull any of those day trades up as well, but I want to focus on this one for now. I don't want to do too much, right? When you focus on too much, you're going to miss trades, you're going to poorly execute them. So focusing on one thing at a time, you're going to get better execution, better trade, and your mind's not going to be all over the place. Done with your 1% for the SXTP. That was on the watch list as well. SXTP was on the watch list, right? So that was from the 5s. It's all the way at a new high of day at 689 so far. So if you traded that off the watch list, that's a free watch list in the watch list channel. You made some money right there. That was a good focus point. Volume carried on with that one. So good stuff there, Elizabeth, on that 1%. That was your goal, right? So you met your goal for the day already. Now, what are you going to do with your time? What are you going to do? Anyone has any questions? Anyone wants me to look at charts throughout this stream? It's an hour long. We go through them. We take a look to see what potential trades there are out there. Obviously, I'm going to miss some. So if you find some that's moving really nicely, you want to take a look, maybe a breakout trade, hit the comments, and I will do my best to take a look. That SXTP ripping from the get-go, right? So that was from the watch list trade. This is a new high into the 7s. And even if you got this nice clean Maverick indicator, this is my personal custom indicator I made just based on my strategy I teach weekly in the swing coaching sessions, could give you very easy peace of mind on where a chart could be more bearish and bullish. and where an entry could be and where a stop could be for potentially stopping out with profit or stopping out break even or just not taking a big loss. And you can see right from the get-go here with this indicator, you got the last buy signal was here, and it bounced off the SMA ribbon here, bounced off the ribbon here, bounced off the ribbon here, never dropped below the red to give us a sell signal, right? It stayed above it, bounce, 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 bounce. And now we're at a new high of day, right up here into 792. So really, really good day trade off the watch list here with the ribbon intact and bouncing off to the bullish sentiment. RSI is above 50 all the way on these bounces. This is where the setup was, prime setup here. Once we got above that 50. What else do I have here? We're just gonna get rid of this here. Let's get rid of that. That's fine. So let me go back to SPY, right? Because that's our focus point right now. We got that rip above 690.10. Now this is the candle, because that candle just closed above that level. This is the candle that's going to give me the entry, or it's going to give us the punk out where I don't want to jump in right now. So if this one retest the line and we bounce off and we hold above the line, that gives me more of a conviction, more of a peace of mind that this could be a continuation to the upside. Right now, we just got a right sell-off, right? So this candle's still got about 2 minutes left, and it could be volatile as hell, but as long as it closes above that line, I think game time to the upside potentially there. Let me look at team, because that was a call I put up yesterday. If you grab the team, right, so TEAM, I put out in the swing coaching session, I put out $125 calls yesterday as a swing. We're up about 10.5% on just the swing there in less than 24 hours. So I did say, I mentioned I bought 2 contracts. I'm now up $190 on those contracts. So that's really good profit so far on team, if you grab that one. Yes, now it's time to clean the house. After yesterday's 5% down, it was nice to do the 1%. That's really good. In and out in 6 seconds. Look at you. I think that's a Guinness Book of Records you got there. You have to submit that. In and out 6-second trade. Scalp. Let me look what else we got going here. SPY's looking still pretty strong, but we got that. Look at this. So this closed above the line, and I always wait for the next candle to show the true colors. And you can see a nice big red candle came in, so it's not going to give me an entry to the upside yet, right? We got 18 seconds for this candle to close, and it's going to be in this box, this little area still. So a false breakout so far to the upside. I'm going to look around, see what else is going. Nike's up 1.5%. We talked about that in the swings. SMCI, undervalued. We were grabbing that real cheap as well, under 30. And that's up nicely as well last couple of days. PAC's back at 60. So, you know, swing trading can just be very calm and relaxing. If you like that, you don't like the craziness of in and out, like day trading. Swings can just be calm, calculated, planned, and you just follow through with that strategy and plan that we make for it right before we jump in. Sometimes they work out really well. Sometimes you stop out, but the whole point of it is if you stop out with a plan, you're not going to take that much of a hit, right? You're going to take a calculated risk to the downside that you planned out before getting into the trade and following through. So if you stop out, it wasn't meant to be, and there could be a lot more downside, and you're just protecting from your account from getting more downside. You stop out, you reevaluate. Maybe it goes to the next support level lower that reacts nicely, and you grab it there instead. And you don't have to be stuck in that drawdown. So you're gonna get some losses with swing trades, a few losses here and there. But the winners that do play out should overcome those losses very easily with those profits. Oh, look at you. $893. Look at you. Where are we going? We're going on. What's that going to buy us a ticket somewhere? Where are we going this year? We're going to go to Europe or somewhere with that. Get a return ticket. We can go to London. We go to London together. Do you look at day trade setups here? Yes, I am going to go over the day trade setups as well. We are going to go over those. I got the top gainers and the watch list trades. I'm going to go over a few of those names. I'm just going to see which ones actually are moving. Let's see what else is moving here. I'm going to look at this one. We're going to just look at SPY. If it breaks above here and the next candle's green, that's when we're going to look to play calls. I'm going to go over to this day trade on the watch list. Let's see where the VWAP is here. Rolling VWAP. All right. So this one, we draw some levels. So every time, like I'm just putting this line, this little box here, because we got reaction off this level, right, when we touch it. So you can see we broke above, retested, pushed higher. Same thing here. Even on this pullback, we still reacted pretty well, and the buyers are still holding up this level. Now, if we just look at the SMA ribbon, that's what we want to see go green. We got a lot of wicks here so far to the upside where false breaks, right? So we want to see a candle above this 680. I say about 680, get above 680. And then we start moving back towards the sevens again. VWAP is about 785. So we could get that move towards VWAP pretty easily once we start to see the RSI above 50 and the move above the SMA ribbon. So that's what I want to see with this one. This is IOTR. They had news. I believe they had some news here. Let me see. They secured a approval for cybersecurity system. Let's see here. On, I suppose, cybersecurity on computer-based systems installed on ships. So maritime. They have that deal. That's the news that came out today. And that's why it's moving up 117%. So we want to see a break above, for this to keep on moving up, we want to see a break above the green line and then potentially aim for that VWAP. If we get above VWAP, that's even more positive and bullish. And then we start aiming to these levels up here. So I'm going to put these levels in place, potentially up here. But we need a break above that, about 676. That's what I want to see. If we don't break above, I'm not going to touch it because momentum is still not showing very well off this ticker. Still technically trending down, although we're holding this level here. So we get above that line, we aim for at least VWAP, which is about $1 higher than the current price if we break above here for an entry. And if it doesn't hit our entry, what do? We just don't worry about the trade. We don't jump in thinking it's a discount. The momentum's lost. We stay away from this trade. At least I will stay away from the trade if we don't get that entry that we're looking for. If it falls down lower, I'm not going to jump into it until I start to see some more bullish signals that I look for in these particular trades. So that makes sense on that one. Yeah, Cement on Traders Paradise. There you go. AKA, you should be at Traders Paradise this year. Hope to see you there. It's in Nashville. Never been there. It's going to be fun. Let me see what else is moving. I don't like that one. Don't like that one. Don't like that one. NUAI is one that's moving. Hive Day. I don't want to catch these at the tops. So let me just go through the top gainers. Don't like that one either. That's good position AI. Let me go back to SPY. Oh, big move down here. So if you miss this rejection off this top level here, then you look for a breakdown under this level here for a potential trade down lower. And we have a gap fill opportunity that, you know, SPY loves to fill gaps. So you could definitely get that trade down here if we lose this level. And if I'm going to trade this, I will go 687 puts for tomorrow's expiration. Once we lose 689. And I'm going to continue on my top screen to watch top gainers for the day. None of them. The only one that looks okay at the moment is CMCT. It's getting some action here. But they sold a part of their company, so I'm not quite sure if that's a great thing. Especially if that part of their corporation, maybe it's making them income and then they're selling it, and that could totally change their margins and everything, although it's a short-term fix with that cash that they're getting. But what the future holds for this company, CMCT, I'm not quite sure. People that are also listening in Discord, put a 1 in the chat if you guys focus mostly on equity, like stocks, shares, you just trade on equity for the day, or put 2 if you trade options, you like to focus on options. Put in the comment what you focus on mostly throughout the day. Let's get a gauge what people do mostly here. Okay, let's see if this candle for SPY closes under this 689. If it closes here, we got about a minute left. I like this down. I'm gonna queue it up in my Webull as well. Puts for tomorrow, 23rd of January, and we'll buy 687. Going for about 160 bucks at the moment. So I'll buy a couple maybe. I'm not trying to break the bank here. Likely buy 2 contracts. What have we got left? 27 seconds of this candle. Oh, we got a big sell-off coming in. 2 giant big red candles. Once this closes the next candle, if we get a retracement at least half of this previous candle and we start to fall off, then I will grab 2 contracts. 1 second left. So we got that candle close below that line. We got a nice follow through from the get-go. Let's see if I can get a better entry or not. We may not get good entry here. So everything turned bearish, right? We got below this 689 we're looking for. It's already gone down nearly $1.50 since that breakdown. And then RSI's breakdown under the 50. Under the RSI 50 goes bearish, weak strength. And then above the 50, we get more of a stronger bullish strength, right? So we're down here towards the bottom of the range. MACD got crossed down as well. So everything, when you have a few indicators and they all blend together well to give you a good positive signal, then that's great. But when you have 5 or 6 that give you all different ideas, then that's when you can kind of make some confusing decisions. So right now, everything's linking well together. We got volume coming in here to the downside. Look at the sell side volume. We got that follow through the price action. RSI is bearish and MACD is bearish. So everything's looking just more downside. And that target will be a gap fill right here that it created overnight. Intel has earnings today. I'm in puts, okay. So we got some, okay, so we got some good mix right here, right? We got some ones in the comments. So you guys like to deal with equity, you like to trade equity. We have also a few option traders here that like to focus on options. With the ones with the equity, do you focus on swing trading or do you focus on like day trade, momentum kind of stuff? On the equity side, like just trading shares. Oh, that's nice. 1 and 2. I'm in puts, 2 occasionally, 1 for now. And you know, these watch list trades that I put out every day with their breakout entries, you know, there may only be one out of that list that sets up nicely. You can just focus on the one. You don't have to try to trade all 4. You can just try to focus on the one that gives us the most volume and that follow through with the entry and the breakout. Doesn't mean all of them are going to work out. They're just going to be on the top gainers and they have potential as long as we get that follow through with volume. They will print pretty nicely. But if they don't hit our entry points, they're not valid trades until they do. So you've just, at that point, you focus on the one that does hit entry and we got the follow through, or if there's none for the day that follow through, we just don't trade any of them. And we just kind of, I sit on my hands at that point, right? And I go do something else. But I'm not going to try to jump in. Oh, it's a discount. It's 10% lower than that MadMaverick guy posted. Let me jump in. No, they're based on momentum. So if there's no momentum, getting it at super cheap level doesn't mean it's going to work out great for you. You may get lucky once or twice, but overall you won't get consistent profit when you buy at discount to those breakout trades levels. So I just stay away from them if they don't hit my entry points. I go do something else, you know. Oh man. Oh, this one's looking hella bullish though. This is Clorox. Clorox, we mentioned this one also. I think I mentioned it in the free side as well. I mentioned it on socials with my social accounts. But this one is a household name. And they were like at this very like low that was on the weekly that was just primed if we got a reversal from there. And we got a little wedge right here. But this was a nice breakout with the ribbon right here. Once we broke out the wedge, we got a bullish signal here, and that would have been from about $100. You're up at 11%, and that's not really worrying too much, right? You're just following through with your plan on the breakout on the entry, and then adjusting maybe your stops along the way up to protect your profits or make sure you don't take a loss. But at this point, it's just continues to go. And we definitely see much more out of this Clorox swing that I put out. You know, into 120s, especially when markets, when investors start to go into safe haven stocks and sectors. This is going to be, these kind of names are going to be where that money goes, where they're generating solid returns year over year for several years. They got dividends, they're growing, and they're safer. Like technology is just more highly volatile, right? And very sensitive to data. So once that happens where tech sells off, you're likely to see more investors jump into sectors like these with these kind of names in, and they start buying the bottoms and they start running them up for some decent returns. Target's one of them that's been moving up silently as well. Target has gap fill opportunity to 150, 116. So there's a few names out there that just quietly moving up under the radar. Netflix interests me as well. I'll talk about that in our coaching stream today. Starts at 11 o'clock. So anyone that's on the fence about coaching or wants to join the swing trading sessions, start at 11 o'clock today. It's under $40 a month. Get access to my personal trades. You get access to a weekly live stream, and you get access to chats where we can discuss potential setups, plans, if it makes sense, fundamental research, things like that. So SPY is following through here. Potential gap fill. Thank you for that, Pooks. Anyone in puts for SPY so far? Anyone still in puts? Anyone take profit? I didn't get into it, unfortunately. But I did put it on the watch list. So if you did take the trade, up about 20% plus from that breakdown. Missed that 155 move too fast, not going to chase. Good. Up 30%. 5 contracts sold 2. I like that you guys are doing like your own thing, right? You're not looking for me to say buy here, but at least we got the plan set up and we know what we're all looking at. Now it's just like, it's nice to see you guys just follow through of making your own decision. But we're making the plan, right? We made the plan together. And because you understand, it just makes it a little bit more simpler for you to say, well, I can get into this trade with more confidence and I can make money on it. I'm not going to start losing money because everything's lining up for that trade, right? To the downside or the upside. All it takes is, a few minutes and getting yourself in a good place before market opens. No chaoticness, just sitting at your desk, or maybe it's in your car, in the parking garage. I don't know where it is before you jump into work for the day. And you plan out these different levels for entries, downside, upside, and then where your targets will be, and then where you stop. What are you willing to max risk out of this trade? If it doesn't work out, are you willing for it to drop 10% down, 5%, 15, 20%, and stick to that plan before jumping in and just executing it based on what you wrote down or whatever's in your head at the time, and that the plan that's in your head. So gap fill here, looks like we're going to get total gap fill. Profits on the table, shouldn't go red on the put side. Plus 15% on that. Let's have a look at that one. This one dropped down to 24. Yeah, it didn't really show much strength. It got above, say, 29. Then we kind of fizzled out a little bit there, right? So that's good to put a stop in place if we start to see weakness come back into the mix. But this GLSI kind of sold off. It didn't really show us any strength, really. It just kind of hovered around flat, kind of flatlined, and then start to sell off. So this one has news, though, that we have to also pay attention to. They got clearance to use commercially manufactured GP2 in their trials. It says here, approval for the commercial GP2 for use, clear supply for breast cancer trial. So it's trials. They're still in trial period, and that's what we got the bump for on this breast cancer trial, right? Because breast cancer is a huge unmet disease that needs treatment, critical treatment. And when you start hearing cancer trials and positive results and clearances, that's when you start to see these small caps start ripping. This one pulled back a little bit, but 13% up for the day. I still would be, watching this one over the next couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, because this one could build from here traction, right? It may pull back today, but it could still build its way up to higher levels. So it's definitely going to pay attention to this GLSI. Today, though, if I was to trade this, I'll wait for a break above 28.15 again. and then I look to trade this back. But I need to see strength on that GOSI. So above 28.15, start to see some really good momentum there, and then trade it back to the 30 plus again. But I'm not touching it down here at 24. So I'm sorry, Paul, that you got that 15% there. Fight another day. Okay, total gap fill here. We got that gap fill, overnight gap fill for SPY down to 687. Now, do we react and we bounce here and it finds the bottom? We shall see. So I'm going to move that line out the way. We don't need it anymore. It's irrelevant. We hit the target. Now, if we fall right through that gap fill here, we continue to fall. We have lots of levels from yesterday to aim for. We have this level here. That would be my level to aim for next. So that's another about $2 and change to that target, next target, follow through target. This can go away now, right? Because we already played the downside. So now we're just looking to max those profits out with the SPY put. Maybe we have one contract out of a few left, and we're just looking for continuation with a stop that's in profit either way. We're just looking to max out this this downside opportunity. If we lose 687.15, close under that, then we'll look to trade this down to 685 next. But this is gap fill, so we could potentially bounce here. So we also have to pay attention there. One left, all right. Yeah, if you're more experienced trader and you're used to me trading alongside you, yeah, I'd likely take this SPY put on my indicator entry because I'm used to trading with this indicator. So I would definitely, I have a lot of discipline here, right? So I would, I'm just doing these levels so it's easier for everyone here, new, experienced, preferably newer traders that kind of just getting into the whole mix of trading. Given better levels, easier levels to understand to take the trades. But if you're more experienced and you know how to use the indicator pretty well, then yeah, I probably likely would have got in once we lost this level here. And then my stop loss would have been tight if we got back bullish again above the green. So it would have, the stop loss would have been very tight anyways. But the follow through, if it happened, would have been significant, right, for profit. So I would have got in on this candle right here based on the ribbon, right? So yeah, absolutely, I would have got in a little bit sooner. Absolutely. Do you have the indicator on the TradingView? Do you use it? It's definitely a great help. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, so 3 minute. I normally use a 3 or 5 minute for that confirmation with the indicator. I don't go down to the 1 minute. It's just too much signals, up and down signals, right? Look at that. Oh, you've got clean signal here on the 1 minute, but like all this, you would have got kind of just up and down mixed and all that. But when you go up to the 3 or 5, you're likely to get more cleaner signal follow throughs with the bigger time frames. Yeah. What else is going on? Are you buying more bull? Probably not. What's bull doing? Oh, it's 2% today. No, I'm not buying no more bull. I think I've been bulled out. But But, you know, if you're looking at Webull now, I've drawn this out pretty well. My max risk here would be if we lost this low here. I'd be like, all right, we're going to go much lower, probably another 10%, 15% lower, which we can get a better entry. I just stop out of my trade that I'm in now, my position. And I would look to reevaluate my entry once that sell-off stops and we start to see buying come in at certain levels. But we also got to understand with Webull, we have new data lower. It's making new lows. So it's just a very risky place to be in if we lose those lows again. So I just put my line across the top, across the bottom. So that's kind of my max loss here. If we lose this low, I'd be like, okay, we may see another 10% low. I'm just going to exit my position with my loss that I've taken. And I'll wait again to trade it, right? But there's a lot of good potential with this company. I mean, they're starting to see more revenue. Then I think they're net profitable. You know, we know what Webull is. It's getting more popular. They're offering more products within their platform. So it could build up to where it's maybe $20 down the line. But if you want to see more positive entries, you want to see more bullish, you know, signals on your indicators that you use. So for me, if you go to the daily even, I want to see it above my ribbon and I want to see strong volume. So I want to see more motivation to take this trade. I would want to see it above 822 at this current time, right? That's the SMA 20 breakthrough. A close above 822, I'd be like, okay, it's looking better. Because we're closing above 822, and then maybe the next candle we're building off of that, and we can then take an entry and make it make sense to take an entry, because that at that point we'll be bullish on the signal. RSI will likely be above 50, which is more of a bullish strength. And the volume would be likely, obviously, buying volume, right? So makes me sleep better at night when I got a lot more confirmation to take a trade. If you're more risk on, then, you know, potentially you take the trade if it bounces off this level again and you put a stop loss just underneath. So it's, you know, capping your risk at that point, very low risk if you stop out. So I do like Webull. If you're looking for more of a bullish entry, you know, look at above the SMA 20, RSI above 50, MACD obviously more positive, and volume. You know, pick a few of those, and once they all line up perfectly together, then it gives you a reason to jump into that trade, and then, you know, follow through that plan that you made for it. Mobile Eye got bad earnings, so we got a drop on Mobile Eye. So I am going to be watching that. I do like it long term, but it's not the point. It's not the right time to be loading my position into Mobile Eye after having an earnings miss or their guidance a little bit lower for 2026. So when the time's right is when I will add more to it. I will keep my shares that I have because they're only down like 5% or something. It's not nothing huge. And my position is only 250 shares. So it's nothing big that I eventually will load into it. So I'm just going to stick to what I have. And my max cutoff for that 250 shares will be if we lose $10 for Mobile Eye, because if we lose $10, that's at a new low, and I'm not trying to be stuck in that. So I would just happily stop out under $10, even with just my starting position. And then eventually, once it's ready to go, then we can load up heavily on the reversal once it shows us that. But that was a high risk trade from yesterday, if you remember me saying so. Yesterday, done for the day. Good job, Paul. Snap also was green. If you grabbed Snap yesterday with me, this is up 4% overnight. So It's actually about 5%. But we grabbed it down here at the end of the day. And even the day before, we grabbed some in the premium down here. And then we grabbed some here. And then we moved up to 782, about 5% overnight. So that was a really good quick return if you're looking for a quick swing. So Snap I like, and with Snap you can look at the bigger time frames and base your planning off of the bigger weekly and the bigger time frames. We know off of Snap that once it bottoms out either about here 690, or it bottoms out about 7-ish, right, in this little box area. Say like here, it bottoms out in this little box. That's about 720, 725. We've known several times that it's either bottomed at about 697. We got a nice reversal to 9. Once it reverses off this level, low 7s, we've got another move to 9. Once we reverse off this level again, we got a positive move to 9. We retested this area again. We're now working on the green candle for the week. If we go to the daily, we got a little gap up from the previous day. But every time it's bounced positively from either 690 or about 720. And it's gone up to about $8.59 every time. So that's what I would willing to trade short term until maybe it breaks above there. Then with game time, let's go back to 10 plus at that point. But right now, kind of try to keep it simple, and you trade a pattern that it's given you over and over again. So every time it's reversed from here, right? So it's ripped up from here, up here. That's a really good return. That's about 20, maybe 30, 25, 30% return on equity. Then you played the downside once we rejected off this level. You rejected again off here. You maybe play the downside if you know how to play puts, or you play short side. And then you can, once we see buying come back into the mix, then we look to play the reversal again, back to the top of the range. That's about $9 again from the low 7s. Then you play the downside if it rejects. Wait for the reaction off that area, then play the upside again. And you can see that now we're reacting positively from these lows 7s again. So my thought here would be aiming for the high 8s to 9s and not going red on that position if we lose that box, right? So this is a pattern that I love to trade, channel trades like that. So you can't use the ribbon for that. You're just going to have to use support levels, demand, and obviously supply towards the top for resistance, and then look for the volume and the RSI kind of to guide you in on the bottom entries to the top targets for your profit taking. And just play that up and down. And then if you decide to lose this, then you're not in your position anymore up towards the top. Or if you go through here, then maybe you have a few shares left, right? You have maybe you had 500 shares at the beginning, and now you're down to 100, 150, and then you break right through there. Then you can start raising your stop up behind this line as a stop, and then more and more it goes up. You just follow it behind with a trading stop or a physical stop loss based on a percentage or whatever. So every time it's done this over and over and over and over. So why complicate it? You just trade it the same way over and over until one side breaks. Then you either play more downside if you're in puts, or you play more upside if it breaks through the top. Yeah, I would disregard my indicator for these channel trades. Obviously, you can leave it on your chart, and you can get entries like this bullish signal here and above here, but it's going to be a little bit higher than that bottom of the channel, right? So if you're okay with that, use the indicator, but it's not going to give you clean up and down moves with that indicator. It's going to give you kind of a flat line SMA 20 in between that channel. So I preferably not trade it with my indicator channel trades. But I will use it on longer term swings that are just reversing from bottoms and we're getting a smooth signal. That made my day. RGC, that's one that, RGC, I shorted that one from the top and then they forward split, I think. And they have nothing really going on for the company. But the momentum, when it hits hard for RGC. But when it starts selling off, it's bad. You can easily get on the short side. I know, Paul C, you done short before. That could be easy to short. If you know how to. So that's my full AKA on Snap. Just kind of play the same pattern until it breaks, and then wait for the next pattern to form. If it breaks above, then you look for higher grounds for targets, right? You look maybe to the top of this range, a gap fill opportunity to maybe, $12, $13. And then you go towards 14, 15. There's a gap to fill. And then, where it was at recently last year in the 17s. I mean, if Snapchat work on those glasses that they have and it's a success, and they also build subscriptions for their Snapchat Plus, they keep building on that because they're doing very well there, then eventually I think this becomes a profitable company. It just sucks that they have this CEO that, kind of controls a lot of the decision making here, as he holds a majority of the shares. So that's how I play Snapchat. And if anyone wants to play stuff like that and you're in the free side and you're just like, I don't know what to begin with, then this is a good place to start. Come join the coaching sessions, because we go over this strategy as well as the SMA 20. We do channel trades, how to find them, and we plan around them. And if it's something easy and simple to understand, you can get in on that and start seeing more consistent profit with those kind of trades. And just focus on channel trades. You don't need to focus on 5 or 6 different strategies. Just focus on something that you understand and you see profit from consistently, or low risk as well. With alert 726, was waiting for that. I missed that this morning. Yeah, I didn't expect Snapchat to gap like that overnight. Oh well. So SPY gap filled, and now look at the reaction off that level. This could be a bottom for the day. We got that gap fill to the downside. Now we're trying to work on building a base here to go to the upside. So this high roller technology, what a great name. Getting some action here, up 40%. So this would be a day trade equity side. And I'd be looking for a break above this this fib retracement level. So things are looking more bullish here. We got RSI above 50, MACD, everything's kind of lining up pretty nicely. Now we're just looking for a follow through. So I'd be looking for a move above this. We might as well just call it about 1280. because I know that would have missed a little bit of the action here, right? But I'm looking to break through this hard resistance points that it's found it, you know, a struggle to get through here and here and here. So if we can get through that level, we could potentially see, you know, 16s, 18s, maybe up to the 20s again. That's kind of what it's kind of what I'm looking at here. Play the bigger move overall once we break through that level. We'll see. We'll see if we get that break above 1280 today or not. Of 80. And then I'm just going to write this in the chat. Then we can aim for 14 to 16 first. That would be my day trade idea for this one. But we need a break above 1280 first. Oh, it came up on the top gainers on my screen at the top. Let's see that we started to break above certain levels on this one. But we'll see if we get the follow through there, because it just sold right off from that move. So we'll see what happens. See what happens with that one. That just pumped and then dumped right back to where it began. You have a question. Any thoughts on IOTR? Okay, so we talked about that one. This one's still kind of, it fell down, right? Now it lost this level. So another level that you can just put these like demand zones in, this level here. To the bottom of the wick. That's another level, but nothing's bullish right now on this stock. It's just fell right off from these highs, right? So nothing's telling me, hey, let me jump in right now. Nothing's telling me, like, there's little bumps along the way, but for this one, it's just a pure sell-off right from the get-go here. So if we're looking just for a reversal type trade, then I still be looking for it to get above this little box, red box here. Everything will then line up bullish on every indicator. But this is also going to be a resistance now. So I would treat that as a breakout once we get above, close the candle above the box. So what is that? About 610. If we get above 610, then we can have a potential trade back towards 675-ish. And then if we get momentum continuation there, then we can start moving towards these areas again. And you're going to know, because their volume is going to be flowing really strong. The time and sales are going to be just green, 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 green. And you're going to start to see that with that price action. So positively above 610, and then trade it to about this is just based on what I would do. 670 would be my target point, and then keeping a tight stop, maybe 5% or something from there. And if we go higher, then just raise up my stop so you guaranteed your profit. I don't know, Shin, how that's weird. Have you reset your Discord? Have you checked the sound settings to make sure it's maybe connected to your headphones or connected to the speakers, the right ones? Because sometimes that always happens to me where, you know, I flick between my speaker and my headphones, And sometimes it doesn't change it on the settings of Discord, and I have to manually do it myself. Or on my computer, I have to manually do it as well. So I would look there first in the settings under voice, I think voice and video, and see if that's correct. And then also reset your, like, totally get out Discord, like even the little toolbox at the bottom here, make sure that's taken out, the little icons closed as well, the whole thing's closed down, and then try to reset there and see if that helps, that brings back. You can't hear me, but I should probably write that down, right? I'm just speaking and he's not even listening. I would head to settings. Yeah, you can check the volume too. So yeah, so Vinny, on this one, trending down, nothing positive right now. The momentum's lost on this one, but it could start building back up again if we get above 610. I would get my eyes on this chart if we can close back above 610 again, like on a 2-3 minute time frame. I would do that, and then potentially trade it up there, and then having protection. You know, if it decides to roll back over, so you don't take a huge loss, you take a minimal one. Then you fight another day or fight another trade that sets up better, and you can make that back plus more on another one maybe. And if you're looking at a rinse and repeat on SXTP, this one's pulled back a little bit, so that's nice. I'd be looking for, and it's above VWAP, and it's just hovering below the SMA 20. So at that point, if we can break back above 7, I say above 7 here for this SXTP. And also put this trend line down, right? We're trending down here. Once we get above 7, I think we can get this, maybe potentially see a pop there once we close above 7 again. And then we can aim for these previous levels that it gave us, the highs. So we could aim for, you know, start aiming for up here, potentially up there. So if we get above 7 on this SXTP, then I would look for maybe a 750 target, 790, then maybe back into the 8s if we really start seeing that momentum come right back into it again. But right now, no setup yet until we start to break above that level, right? But it's good to have at least a setup planned out for it. But right now, RSI is below 50 again, bearish. MACD's looking very bearish here. Volumes still sell side. It's kind of fizzled out, right? It's none of this big volume like here and here and here. It's kind of gone away, so we want to see that come back in. So this one's just hovering, but above 7 could really start building that back up again. Oh yeah, I like that. Oh wow, it's a Penny Boys one. You have that in your garage, Porter? I didn't know you roll like that over there. What else? Oh, SMCI is still going. Yeah, that one looks good. Look at the daily on this one. This one looks pretty positive. We're at the lows. Forex is nice. SPY is still holding up that gap filled at the bottom. So it's starting to push up a little bit from here. Yeah, that's about it, guys. I got to wrap things up here. So I got the stream, the coaching stream at 11 a.m. Eastern here in the Discord. So let me make sure on socials we have the link on the posts as well. Just make sure we have it. Any last minute questions before we jump on out of here? I'm going to take a little break here before the coaching stream. So we played the SPY. We planned out the SPY put. It worked out great. If you took it, congrats. The top gainers kind of fell off a little bit. Like we were just mentioning, a few of those watch list trades fell off a little bit, but we do have that plan, right? So we have the SXTC plan. If we decide to, not that one, sorry, SXTP, yeah, this one. We know that what I will be looking for is above a $7 break, right? That's what I'm going to look for potential reversal trade in this one. And then we also have IOTR. We want to see that one clearly above 610 is what I will be looking for an entry on that one. And they're all just trending down still at the moment after the big pop in pre-market. So I'm not going to be trading any of those until we see them start seeing some buying, right? Start seeing them break above these levels again to trade them. So I'm going to focus on that. I will see everyone in the coaching stream at 11. If I can do any pop-ups this week in the free section, just look out for those too. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now.